You graduate from the police academy. When your mother sees you, tears fill her eyes. Your first posting is a small municipal precinct on the border. The monthly salary is 8,500 pesos. After rent, food, and sending money home, just 400 remain. 3 months into your new post, Comandante Robles summons you. Robles has run this precinct for over a decade. On paper, he earns 15,000 pesos. Yet outside, he parks a gleaming Suburban. He doesn't need to raise his voice. He simply explains how things work, matter-of-factly. The cartel controls the plaza, he says. The police aren't the opposition. We're part of the structure. Our job isn't to fight crime, it's to manage it. He slides an envelope across the desk. 5,000 pesos. A coordination bonus. Consider the door open, Robles shrugs. Middle of the day, that's normal here. You fold the envelope into your pocket and go home, promising yourself not to spend it. But 2 weeks later, your daughter comes home with a fever, an ear infection, and the clinic demands 1,200 pesos for antibiotics. The public pharmacy has been out of stock for months. You hand over the cash. You tell yourself it's a one-time emergency, your first lie. The envelopes keep coming, every 2 weeks, always 5,000. You fix the leaky bathroom, you pay down the credit card. You buy Lupita a new pair of shoes for work. Small things. Normal things a cop should be able to afford, but can't on this salary. The money never feels dirty. It fills clean gaps. That's the design. They don't buy you with luxury. They buy you with normalcy. Your first real assignment is a highway checkpoint on the cartel corridor. Robles hands you a list of license plates. Those trucks pass. Everything else, you stop. The allowed plates change every week. You memorize them like exam answers. One mistake means stopping the wrong truck, and that costs 1,000,000 peso shipment, and you lose your life. You become a traffic light with a badge. You learn the local language. Not the Spanish in the reports, but the Spanish of the streets. Heavy means cartel boss. A letter marks the faction running your zone. Gift means bribe. He fled means you let someone go. On paper, you speak official Spanish. On the street, you speak a different Spanish. And the gap between them is where your integrity used to be. The corruption creeps in slowly. First, you let an extra truck through. Then you hear which shipments the state prosecutor is tracking. One night, 4 tons needs to cross your sector. Robles stages a fake shootout on the east side. Every patrol car scrambles to the false report, while the west corridor lies empty. The trucks roll through. Your role was just calling in the fake report. Now, you're not merely looking the other way, you're actively setting it up. Your cut for this corridor job is 100,000 pesos, more than your entire first-year salary. You buy a fireproof safe and bolt it in the bedroom closet. Lupita asks what it's for. Important documents, you lie. Gradually, you see how the system really operates. The cartel doesn't bribe cops to break the law. It bribes them to enforce it selectively. You still arrest dealers, thieves, kidnappers, just never the ones connected to the organization. You bust independents who operate without permission and shut down rival crews moving product through the plaza without paying the tax. On paper, the crime stats look great. Robles holds press conferences. But every arrest is just one mafia eliminating another. You're not cleaning the streets. You're maintaining a monopoly. 6 months in, you see your first body. 3 men slumped on the highway shoulder, executed. You know who did it, why, and where they are now. Information to pass on by phone, not on a report. The first body costs you 2 nights of sleep. By the 10th, you eat dinner an hour later without thinking. By the 50th, it's just paperwork. You learn to stare at a man with hands bound and his face beaten to a pulp, then go home and help your daughter with her homework. That ability should terrify you, except it's the same ability that makes everything else possible. Cardenas is your cartel contact, a mid-level coordinator. Every 2 weeks, he shows up at the same cafe and slides an envelope across the table like a phone bill. Polite, he asks about your family. He even remembers your daughter's name and once turned up on her birthday with a stuffed animal. Your daughter sleeps with it. The man who funds your corruption bought your child a toy she loves. One evening, you and Lupita have a quiet anniversary dinner by candlelight. Actual conversation that isn't about bills. Then Cardenas and his wife walk in. You lock eyes. For a horrible second, you wonder if he'll approach. Instead, he gives you a small nod from across the room, the kind of nod office coworkers exchange. Because that's what you are, co-workers. Lupita asks who that was. You say nothing. You spend the rest of dinner acting normal, while the man who delivers your corruption money sits 15 feet away, eating pasta with his wife. The two worlds aren't separate. They dine in the same restaurants. Your partner, Officer Ua, starts asking questions. He's noticed patterns. Certain trucks never get stopped, cases that go nowhere, arrests targeting only one group. He quietly keeps notes. One night on patrol, he mentions it to you, as if it were just a strange anomaly. Your stomach drops. You report it to Robles. The next day, Ua is transferred to records. But he keeps pushing. He files a formal complaint with the state anti-corruption unit. You find out that unit has officers on the payroll too. Robles tells you casually, even the people who investigate corruption are corrupt. It's not a bug, it's the architecture. At your next meeting, Cardenas brings it up. Calm and polite, he says your former partner is becoming a problem. Problem. It sounds clinical, like marking an item for resolution, not yelling a threat. You call Ua, try to convince him to drop it. He says he doesn't care about his career, he cares about doing the job right. You recognize that tone. It's the one you had 3 years ago. 3 weeks later, Ua is found dead on the highway, 2 shots through the driver's window. Official report calls it an attempted robbery. You carry his coffin at the funeral. His wife clings to their 5-year-old daughter. You slip 20,000 pesos to the widow from your safe, claiming it's a precinct collection. Blood money. Buying a clean conscience for an afternoon. It doesn't work. You become paranoid about money. You can't deposit large amounts, it triggers flags, and you can't spend conspicuously. Your new house is in your mother's name. Gold coins are registered to your cousin. Lupita's car is registered to your brother-in-law. On paper, you own nothing. In reality, you've amassed more wealth than most people earn in a decade. You keep a spreadsheet on a USB drive hidden in a hollowed-out Bible. You try to quit. You ask Robles for a transfer. He doesn't get angry. He pours you coffee and calmly explains the math. You know all the names, the roots of the operations. You know which judges are paid and which prosecutors are owned. Who killed Ua? Inside the system, you're an asset. Outside, you're a liability. And liabilities get resolved. Robles isn't threatening you. He's describing physics. Lupita has been watching you. Not the envelopes, but you. The midnight phone checks, the tense silence at any news of police corruption, the weight you've gained, the way you stopped laughing. One night, after the kids have gone to sleep, she sits across from you at the kitchen table. Tell me what's happening, she says quietly. I'm not angry. I'm just tired of pretending I don't see. You lie. It's just work stress. She studies you. I'm a teacher, she says. I know a kid when he's lying. You don't tell her. Not because you're brave, but because telling her would make her a target. Silence is the only protection you can offer, and even she doesn't know that. Then your health falls apart. High blood pressure, chronic gastritis, insomnia. Your doctor says, reduce stress. You almost laugh. You take the pills and go back to work. They make you a training officer. You give new recruits the official spiel: honor, service, protect, and serve. Then you watch them. The ones who ask questions get weeded out. The silent ones are considered keepers. Last month, a 22-year-old recruit saw you wave a truck through and cracked his mouth open to ask why. You give him the look. He snaps shut. 2 weeks later, he's memorizing plates. You've just created the exact system that swallowed you. It's election season. The cartel has its own candidate for mayor. Your job is to suppress the opposition, park patrol cars near their rallies, run bogus document checks on their volunteers, pull over their vans for inspections that last 2 hours. One afternoon, you meet the state prosecutor at a ranch barbecue. Robles brings you. There he is, El Fiscal, the man whose office is supposed to investigate people like you. He's eating ribs and laughing with a cartel lieutenant. He sees you looking, and he doesn't even flinch. Why would he? You're all on the same payroll. You realize the system isn't broken. A broken system could be fixed. This one is working exactly as designed. The cartel's candidate wins by 12 points. On election night, he gives a speech about fighting corruption. His first order of business: increase police funding. The money flows directly through Robles and back into the system. The taxpayers are funding their own oppression and applauding the people who arranged it. Democracy isn't dead here. It's a puppet show with excellent production values. Your 12-year-old son tells you he wants to be a police officer, the same pride your mother felt when you graduated. You tell him to study engineering, medicine, anything else. He thinks you're being modest. You're being honest for the first time in years. A federal anti-corruption task force begins investigating your precinct, outsiders who don't answer to the local chain. Robles is nervous. It's the first time you've seen him anxious. He burns documents at night. Cardenas stops showing up at the cafe. One morning, an agent finds you at a gas station before dawn. She knows everything: your official salary, your hidden income, the checkpoints and corridor jobs. She offers a deal: testify for immunity and a new life. You take her card and think of Uwa's daughter, your own son, even your mother's proud face from your graduation. You ask one question: who would I be testifying to? Which prosecutor? She names the state prosecutor's office, the same one, the same fiscal you saw at the ranch. You hand the card back without a word. That night, dinner is normal. Your son talks about a school project. Lupita mentions the parent-teacher meeting. You clear the table, wash the dishes, and collapse on the couch. The distance between who you were 12 years ago and who you are now is so great, it's like you can't even see the other side. Not because you fell, but because the ground shifted so slowly you didn't notice. You go to bed. You'll do it all again tomorrow. Not because you want to, but because once you accepted that first envelope, you can't choose to stop.